Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before. Why did you... Well, what is the charge? Eating a
Let's see
meal?
what's going on in the world today.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. I was just saying in my earlier recorded video that, we're in a completely new era here after Trump won. Immediately, you could just kind of feel the pressure alleviate, especially as a right-wing content creator. The moment the administration shifted, it's almost as if everybody just kind of expected that this era of censorship that we were feeling was going to be at least lessened to a certain extent, and we just went through a crackdown right late in the election as channels were getting banned left and right and getting channel strikes for general misinformation when covering Joe Biden. And so, it felt almost as if we were at a crossroads. Then Donald Trump gets elected, we go down the path of light, and boom, social media companies all of a sudden start admitting that they were wrong during COVID. They start unbanning people, giving people a second chance, and all of a sudden, all these random phantom strikes that were hitting all the right-wing channels, stuff that gets you either suspended for 1 week or 2 weeks, well, all of a sudden it's no longer happening. No general misinformation video takedowns. All this to say that the moment Donald Trump was elected, so much changed. All of a sudden it felt like the Overton window had shifted, and in this case it shifted so vigorously that it appears the Democrats are still feeling the seismic shockwaves. In other words, they're getting slapped so freaking hard in the face with reality. This is a different era, and you can no longer go on these networks or show up at these fancy globalist events spewing absolute utter nonsense. And here's the perfect example of that: Eric Swalwell eating an entire bowl of FU as he tries to push his deranged conspiracy theories on CNN. Yeah, I think the idea of elections having consequences is finally starting to dawn on these Democrat donkeys. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so apologies ahead. Disclaimer, you're about to get exposed to Eric Fartwell's freaking stupidity.
The name that is listed the most in these files and talked about the most is Donald Trump. And of all the people that Jeffrey Epstein talked to in the world, and it looks like this guy got around, and there are millions of files, and Donald Trump's name is mentioned many, many times, up to 1 million. Some are speculating through the searches. There's only one person that Jeffrey Epstein described as his best friend, and that's Donald Trump. But the effort since this summer, and I want to just walk you through the timeline, has been to avoid this at all costs on the Republican side. They refused to swear in Adelita Grijalva when she would have been the person that got the Epstein discharge over the goal line. During the summer, they were willing to shut down the government because they didn't want these files to be released. And again, the Department of Justice won't release all of the files now, and many of them, are redacted, and only about 50% have come forward. It's a cover-up job at the Department of Justice, but we're not going away.
And certainly Trump's name has been in there quite a lot, and he has not been accused of any wrongdoing, but certainly it raises questions the way that this release has happened, as you noted, from the survivors themselves who have been on this show and have asked why it's being handled this way.
I'm watching this after months of Epstein this, Epstein that. Democrats really seized the day on that one. Once again, they seized a frickin' boomerang, tossed it in the air, and now it's coming back to hit them square in the frickin' face. This Epstein thing is thoroughly backfiring. It's blowing up in their faces, and it's also the Trump era that's blowing up in their face. Back in the day, they used to be able to get away with this stuff. But now, oh, how things have changed. CNN, of course, listening to whatever Eric Fartwell is meandering about, and they're probably, prepared for these moments. Behind the scenes, they vetted the information, they followed the Epstein files appropriately, at least probably, again, behind the scenes. They've done their basic editorial work, and they know, surprise to very few people these days, the Democrats are frickin' lying. And when normally in the past they would have just, ran with the conspiracy theory, just like with all that Russia nonsense. Oh yes, Adam Schiff, it appears you're finally out the psych ward. What was that when you were saying there's more than circumstantial evidence of Trump-Russia collusion? Yes, please, continue on. Oh, they ate that stuff up. All these blue anon freaks spewing their absolute utter insanity on the network night by night. Oh, let me tell you, George Stephanopoulos, about the Donald Trump PP tapes. Absolute morons. But nowadays, it's a little bit different. And of course, we know why. Because of all the winning. And specifically in this case, winning in the courts. Yeah, I'd say this time, after seeing the
This is everywhere. Wow, this is really good. You should come like this is so good.
Look at how many you're finding.
I feel like all of them. Precious. If it weren't so dangerous, it'd be a fun activity to do.
These are the big ones. So what about all the particles you can't see?
This same kind of material was used in the construction of the World Trade Center buildings. And when the towers fell, it was pulverized to microscopic size and released into the air. The particles remained airborne for days, and thousands of people unknowingly breathed them in. They buried themselves deep within people's lungs, wreaking havoc and causing all sorts of diseases.
We've known for decades that these particles are extremely dangerous. But when the towers fell, no one was warned.
The concentrations are such that they don't pose a health hazard.
And yet today, the diseases linked to that dust have killed more than twice as many people as the attacks themselves. Once we started looking, we kept finding this material in places we never expected.
He was telling newspapers that people aren't just eating it and breathing it, they're mainlining it.
Fuck.
In popular off-roading spots, and even
My lord.
So Mickey Mouse crowns.
No.
it's been detected in the dust.
Democrats are currently
What is this?
How old are you, Orhan?
I'm 33 years old.
33. And did you serve in the Turkish military at 18?
No, you can get out of it.
How did you get out of it?
There's two ways to get out of it. One, you have to be gay and prove it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Here's the thing, like...
That's why I never joined the military.
That's not how it is. No, I am straight. No, here's what I... Shut up, you don't know. But I'm the only straight person here, probably. Okay, listen. If you're gay, you have to send them tape because they want proof video. They actually do. This is true. I'm not making this up. I'm not a straight.
Wow.
But blowjobs don't count, which some people sent blowjob videos and still went. So the other way is you have to work in America for 3 years. That's what I did. I did shitty jobs.
So one way of getting out of the military is sending a video of a man absolutely butt-fucking you. And the other option is going to the greatest country on planet Earth and making money and working for 3 years?
Because they figure, like, corporate America also makes your little yay big.
That's nice.
Stonehenge is one of the most famous monuments on Earth, and yet there are still so many
The upper middle class liberal mind cannot even comprehend this.
You like to get high, you can't sneak and get high.
Put all your dirty laundry out there, and they got nothing on you. Look at Bill Clinton. What he meant in the courtroom is, no, I'm not getting a job right now. They want to see if the shit sticks, and if you don't...
This was supposed to be a formula. Team USA somehow turned it into a solo mission. It happened at the St. Moritz stop during a four-man bobsleigh race. All four Americans pushed off together, and everything looked perfectly in sync. Then chaos hit. As they loaded into the sled, 3 of them tripped and fell almost at the same time. Only one athlete actually glanced back and realized he was completely alone. By then, the sled was already flying down the track. So he grabbed the steering handles and committed to the loneliest ride of his life. And it didn't stop there. In four-man bobsledding, the driver in the front steers, the two middle teammates add weight and stability, and the brakeman at the back controls the brake. Our guy was the driver, which means he had steering but no brake.
No brake.
At that moment, he was not thinking about winning. He was thinking about getting down safely. Near the finish, he suddenly rose up while the sled was still charging downhill. The crowd gasped, assuming he was about to jump. Instead, he carefully shuffled toward the rear to reach the brake. After one of the wildest solo rides you will ever see in a team sport, he managed to slow the sled down and cross the finish line safely. This was supposed to be a four-man event, but Team USA somehow turned it into a solo mission. It happened at the same...
The largest trees on Earth.
So I'm very happy. I just realized I did indeed put an SD card into the camera, or maybe Romark did. Well, what's important is there's an SD card in the camera. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Martin Slitzis, 2019 World's Strongest.
Oh my gosh, dude, how am I an idiot? Why am I? So this video went viral on Twitter the other day, and I thought it was actually really, really good. It's a parody skit by a guy called Pat Smith. Never heard of him before. This seems to be his sort of like big breakout into
200 feet above the water, suspended between Lake Michigan and Lake...
Thank you to Henson Shaving for supporting PBS. This
is Nigel Farage. This is...
Rockwell could not land that flex. There's the right hand from Arlovsky.
Right. Step back, John. Let's look out of it now. Don't put up.
10-second clock. Very late here in round number one.
Ooh, bam. Swing and a miss. Big old boy there. Jesus. Jesus.
A couple very meaningful shots at the end of that round.
Deep breaths. Hey, good job. I need you to feint him a little bit before you start throwing shots or come off that jab. If you poke downstairs, throw that overhand no matter what. Poke downstairs and throw the overhand, all right? And you got to stay heavy on his neck when he tries to clinch up and spin him off that rope.
What? Funny thing with me, you cannot stay with your back on the ropes. Surprising, Arlovsky was able to put Finn there. Finn should have spun him around, but once again, uppercut missed by Rothwell, countered well by Arlovsky.
Round two. Like forward step, forward pressure immediately. Off the step from Rockwell, and then that pressure met.
Gotta work out here, guys.
Driving Rockwell to the ring ropes under Arlovsky.
Once again, that surprises me. They Rothwell trying to pull back up.
Then shuts in the counter right hand getting through from Rockwell, but again it's Arlovsky seeing the entry, taking advantage to the inside. That's an early theme of this fight. Off of the jab. Right hand again from under Arlovsky.
Don't grab it, keep close.
Throw up the left hand. Hold on, taking himself backwards. Right hand again.
Nice.
Arlovsky saw the gap and pulled back the overhand. Through the right hand and landed. Arlovsky up again from Arlovsky.
Arlovsky definitely looking faster at this point. Utilizing that speed, man.
65 seconds remaining round two.
It's like he sees everything coming from Rothwell. He's able to get just out of the way.
Ooh, he's bleeding.
Rockwell is
He's bleeding.
on his scalp.
He's bleeding from his head. Bleeding from his head, he is. He's bleeding from his head.
seeing the open and seizing the open.
Because he's getting out first. He's seeing these others and he's throwing punches. Rothwell's not able to counter this point.
Step down, 1-2 from Arlovsky. Again, Rothwell pulling back the right-handed flight. But pouring into the left eye of the world champion Ben Rothwell from that forehead, that scalp cut. 20 seconds remaining, round 2.
Keep it close, Chris.
Bad right hand on the champion. Right hand again, Arlovsky now stepping forward. Rothwell paused to listen to referee Andrew Blank. But Arlovsky stepped in and landed the right hand.
And Rothwell looking, probably could call that a knockdown, though. It might have stopped it from going down.
That is the end of round 2.
You better calm down. What are you doing?
So far, landing at will, Rothwell has to change
Stop
his
fooling around.
play. Really has to get inside, push his opponent backwards, really work on landing that big right. That was his key. He had to land the right hand. He's not been able to do so. Counter right hand by Arlovsky.
Ow.
Knocking Ben Rothwell back. Lead right hand.
Dang.
Just the blood flying off.
Dang.
Rothwell. That one hurt him.
Got him again. Got him again.
Going backwards. Not working.
Stay busy this round, man. Andrew Glenn is going to bring both fighters up to scratch. We will have a medical timeout. Arlovsky now sent to a neutral part of the ring. He seems a bit confused. And the medical assessment that cut.
All right, come on, Ben.
Clearance immediately. And the chief medical officer, BKMC, Dr. Namutsi.
That guy's like, oh god, I wish they stocked it. Oh, whoa, god, whoa. Whoa. You better quit zooming around. You zooming for
Huge psychological advantage over Arlovsky. Over Rothwell. Previously, strong start to the fight for the former UFC heavyweight champion Arlovsky.
I really didn't think that would be the case. This was a different sport, but it almost seems like that might be. And Rothwell just seems a little slower than normal.
On the inside, the turn from Arlovsky.
Boom.
On the left hand, and there's the counter right back. Flow freely from that
Bing bong, bing bong.
Arlovsky gets to the inside.
I'm shocked that Rothwell's not turning his opponent, putting his weight on him, trying to tire him out.
From Andre Arlovsky.
Dang, hit him with a jab. Hit him with that 187. Dang, he's covered in blood. That shit's splattering like a fucking Jesus.
Looking very good this far.
Oh my goodness, he looks like a bloody mess.
Time called by Andrew Glenn. The issue is this cut.
Dang. Oh, he got fucking Zim Zam. Oh no. It's pouring out his eyeball.
This might be it.
Yeah.
This fight is over. We have a new world champion. It is Andre Arlovsky.
Oh, it's nice, that's nice. Better nice.
We saw him fight for.
Welcome to the show, where I'm a total shill for the... Something we touched on a little.
When it comes to the center of...
I'm standing here with one of the most...
There's no fees when you tip my channel or others, and we actually receive the tip instantly to There's no fees when you tip my channel or others, and we actually receive... This person's social media account was left up while everyone else seems taken down, I think it has something to do with the literal bad guys from World War Tattoo.
There we go. All right, yeah, it's been a...
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day!
A report yesterday out of Spain media about what the UFC's plan.
Yeah, you've seen Apocalypto?
I understand I'm committing a cardinal sin, a huge one, by speaking with...
Pick your...
All right.
Conceived. It was just a few days ago when one of the individuals in
Electrons, photons, and neutrinos. So you convert bogies, shit, waste, anything you want is fuel, as long as it's got condensed matter, which can be a plasma, a gas, a fluid, or a solid. Those are all considered condensed matter.
Kiki,
I don't think it.
you're condensed matter.
And you can take any of the baryons in that.
You smell like condensed matter,
electrons.
Kiki.
Electrons being charged and uncharged, charged being an electron, and the uncharged being the neutrino. Some of the energy is lost for the neutrino. Doesn't matter. It's a nuclear neutrino. It's not going to affect anyone. It's going to go away. It's going to be some type of point on the other side of the solar system very quickly. Right? We're not caring about that. You can literally produce unlimited electricity and unlimited matter. Unlimited photons from this, and you change the things that you get out by stressing it with the magnetic field, as in the Tuchanov paper. Okay, by breaking the coherence. Now, when it's in there, when you make the gluons and the quarks and the matter separates. This is like a model of the quark-gluon structure. That falls apart and it produces a magnetohydrodynamic vortex, which is not. It is not 1 millimeter roughly across, as is proven by this sample, and we've replicated that. It is a micron across, and that does the magic. And so matter goes in, and then it gets born when these structures collapse as stellar synthesis. This is here an apple, and it sucked a slug of pure copper out of the copper pipe, and it did that just before it died. So you can literally see what it did. But that was copper that was going to become part of the ball in the core, right? And when it dies, the matter spews out, as I showed on this substrate. There's other ones here where you've just got this is a little circle here, 20 microns, and this huge plume of stellar synthesis materials coming out when the overall magnetohydrodynamic structure decomposes the matter that's in the core, and it comes out as born as new elements. We are at the verge of an age of abundance. We are at the verge of an age of unlimited energy and free transport. And the question is, do you want to make it happen? Thank you very much for your time, and I'll take some questions. So within the whole bubble, you're changing your space-time. Your space-time is based on your vacuum parameters. The one that is key, which in Ken Shoulders he calls it permittivity transitions. You can go and look at that paper. Really, it's the permittivity of the vacuum, the dielectric constant of the vacuum, that is epsilon zero. When you modify that, because of the way the speed of light and mass equation has occurred in time, it basically changes the rate of time, and it changes the electron dielectric constant. So electrons stop behaving in the way that they ordinarily do. The specific arrangements, I would say at the top, which is the spin inversion on a topological monopole by the Yukon Vasara, that is where you are causing matter to move aside almost without any friction whatsoever. And that's how an exotic vacuum object bores through. It pulls that round, and because you're moving the structure of the ether away, you create a lower pressure of the ether in front. And because it comes round, it automatically creates a higher pressure behind. You can see this in hydrodynamics as well as magnetohydrodynamics. And it does it so beautifully
that even if you haven't got any fuel, when you've got the structure spun up sufficiently, enough of that will come all the way round. It is the warp drive, but some balance of that will be sucked into the tornado and feed the process to move faster. And you may have heard this phrase with regard to anti-gravity craft: the faster they go, the faster they can go. Because the more they can scramjet into the ether, effectively, and capture that rarefied material and convert that into the action of the magnetohydrodynamic vortex. And so it is an arrangement that leads to basically a speed of light difference and parameter of the space-time different from the front to the back, which then it just pushes itself forward and it's driven by the actual magnetohydrodynamics.
Kiki. How many Kikis need whoop? That's one. It's that Kiki right there needs a whooping. Running all around. All willy-nilly. Kiki. Kiki, are you willy-nilly? I don't like it. I don't like it at all, Kiki. Going Hollywood on us, Kiki. Oh, Hollywood Kiki. Purple Kikis. Purple Kiki.
That he had World War II tattoo that he has.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
I don't want to be triggered or anything, but doesn't that become destructive
100%.
after a while?
100%.
And do you have... You're a drummer, though.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We are rolling.
I don't know.
Danny Jones. Danny Jones.
So there's...
Excuse me. Kiki. Purple Kiki.
What is the spirit if it isn't a ghost? And my argument is this is my real argument. The only difference between them is that the ghost is visible. I believe that most people do really believe in ghosts underneath whatever they say. And also in all the world's literature, there's stuff about ghosts from the beginning of time. Well, the thing is,
That.
Strange. Kiki, what are you, a little horse? Kiki, I'm gonna whoop you. You little horse.
Everybody, how's it going? Hope you had an all-day day. I have not kept up with doing videos as much as usual. I've had a lot on my plate with the last month and a half with my...
Movement off of...
I'm gonna have to look you.
Guys, look at this. Boom, boom.
Anthropic just released a marketing video proving that Claude, their flagship programming model, can produce a C compiler from scratch, no human intervention, and they can do it in parallel. And it can compile Linux, SQLite, Redis, Lua, and even Doom. Hey, what's with the frame rate? This is going to be a weird video because I'm going...
A new discovery in the organ-based
video because I'm going to say something positive about Anthropic. And then I'm also
Mhm,
going
we're
to call
gonna look
Anthropic
at
one of the
Kiki now.
most deceitful companies I have ever seen.
Is
This
that what you
little
do,
product
Kiki?
demo
You
that
tired
they did,
now
the
from my
language
running?
inside the video, it is the most dishonest
Think you
framing
need to
of
run
what
some
they
more,
actually did
actually.
versus what they're saying
I
they
don't
did.
think you've ran
Anthropic
enough,
and its
Kiki.
non-stop hyping of the AI models is perhaps one of the most annoying features of 2025, and it's coming into 2026 with a whole new level of rigor and completeness. All right, so let's go over what they did, what the actual cool part, and actually why what they did was complete hype nonsense. So don't worry. It's not over. You don't have to pack it up. Software engineering is, in fact, not over quite yet. Now, that video that you just got done seeing, there's so many lies into it, so we're going to just try it. We're going to try our best to kind of take apart... It's going to be a weird video because I'm going to say something positive about Anthropic. And then I'm also going to call Anthropic one of the most deceitful companies I have ever seen. This little product demo that they did, the language inside the video, it is the most dishonest framing of what they actually did versus what they're saying they did. Anthropic and its non-stop hyping of the AI models is perhaps one of the most annoying features of 2025, and it's coming into 2026 with a whole new level of rigor and completeness. All right, so let's go over what they did, what the actual cool part, and actually why what they did was complete hype nonsense. So don't worry. It's not over. You don't have to pack it up. Software engineering is, in fact, not over quite yet. Now, that video that you just got done seeing, there's so many lies into it, so we're going to just try it. We're going to try our
It'd be
best
nice
to
if it was.
kind of
We
take
can all
apart the
become
lies. So first off,
computer
the
coders.
thing that they were
It's getting
actually
there.
building was trying to see, can they get Claude to run by itself long enough to produce a functional piece of software? Functional, of course, just means that it can do what it says it does, regardless of how good it does it. Long as at the end of the day, you say do X, it does X. You compile Linux, it should produce Linux as an artifact. Also put a little star on that, because not so true. All right, the article kind of kicks off with, to test stress it. Now, it being this multi-agent harness to be able to have Claude run autonomously for multiple weeks, I tasked 16 agents with writing a Rust-based C compiler from scratch, capable of compiling the Linux kernel. Over nearly 2,000 Claude code sessions and $20,000 worth of API cost, the agent produced a 100,000-line compiler that can build Linux 6.9 on x86 ARM and RISC-V. Again, there's no asterisks. So what are these so-called asterisks? Well, first off, I don't know if you know this, but GCC, which is what they're basing this off of, not only is it open source, which means that they've already trained on top of it, and we all know, if in case you didn't know, that these models, you can produce nearly perfect, identical copyright works back out of them if you can convince them to produce it. Like this one right here, showing that Claude 3.7 can produce 95.8% of the first book of Harry Potter, almost a near verbatim reproduction. But Anthropic, in its wisdom, went starting from scratch. Scratch meant 37 years of developed torture test suite from GCC. Yes, you know, this classic way of doing software development. Usually when I start a new project, I first get handed 37 years of prior art, in which contains the perfect golden test suite, so that I can test my new project in every conceivable way possible. And then on top of it, I have the actual working version of the thing I'm about to build that I can also test my working version against. And that's known as the online oracle, as as we say in this software biz. Also, when I say I can compile Linux from scratch, I want you to understand that it lacks a 16-bit x86 compiler necessary to boot Linux out of the real mode. That's because Opus was unable to implement a 16-bit x86 code generated needed to boot into 16-bit real mode. While the compiler can output the correct 16-bit x86 via the 66 and 67 opcode prefixes, the resulting compiled output is over 60 KB, far exceeding the 32K code limit enforced by Linux. See, it's Linux's fault. Like, they have this stupid 32-bit maximum number on it. It's not my fault. I'm not holding it wrong. It's Linus. He's holding it wrong. All right, so to say that all in a quick sentence, they started a project from scratch, having every single conceivable test and a way to test it under all conditions. They had an online version of it, GCC Online, to be able to call out to validate everything they've done. And lastly, they couldn't actually make Linux boot because they were unable to produce an artifact small enough. So they built that compiler completely from scratch. In 2 weeks, they just had to walk away. Okay, they also couldn't walk away during those 2 weeks because sometimes it did things and it would crash itself and we had to restart it and make sure things were working. Now that's what I call from scratch. And this is exactly what I mean by dishonesty. Like, look at that. You saw the video in the beginning. It's like, yeah, dude, we said, hey, Claude, yo, build this from scratch. Walked away. 2 weeks later, Linux was working. SQLite was working. Redis was working. And yeah, we even played Doom. Loser. This is not from scratch. There's no from scratch, no human intervention. Don't just say what you did. Like, okay, so the real takeaway, which everybody should have, which is what is triggering me and making me so angry again at Anthropic, is that the real cool thing is that they figured out how to get 16 agents to mostly run by themselves for 2 weeks straight and actually produce something given the correct guidelines at the end of the day. Hey, that's pretty cool. It's a pretty large project. It shows that models are, in fact, improving and can handle kind of context up to this size and able to kind of work together given the right orchestration. Like, that's a neat takeaway. But that's not what they said, and that, of course, is driving me nuts. Which, of course, led to hilarious issues on GitHub, like the very first issue, Hello World does not compile, because it turns out the example program
downloading
in their README
bar or
does not
circle for
compile.
2 weeks straight.
Sorry, that doesn't compile. You didn't provide the linker, bro, you idiot. Okay, CCC is not like GCC. It only is the compiler. It's not an assembler or linker. Okay, you think you just get those for free, buddy? Which, by the way, there's like 300 and some comments on here of just people arguing back and forth. Oh my god, it is just a actual... It's a Claude slop mess in there, okay? And of course, I'm not the only person saying this. There are some other people saying, hey, this is kind of ridiculous. This is a little out of pocket here, calling this from scratch and no human intervention. So at the end of the day, this could have been an article about how we got Claude to run for multiple weeks and produce something with very little to almost none human interaction and being able to fulfill a spec. But instead it became a spectacle about how Anthropic yet again is completely dishonest. This is just another example of the AI hype cycle. They're just here to try to raise money and to take every piece of novel work possible and sell it back to you. Now this is a future I'm personally excited about. Am I right? Let's go! Oh my gosh. The name is Anthropic. If you were just like a little bit more honest about what you're doing, honestly, I think a lot of people would be much more excited about it and probably cheer you on from the sideline. I think you have a lot of potential. Your models are pretty good. There's a lot of cool stuff about AI. We don't have to be AI haters, but sometimes you just say the stupidest crap ever and just do the stupidest stuff and make everybody hate you.